Hola, my name is Marcus, and I'm a researcher and entrepreneur from Guatemala. Last Mile DeFi is a podcast centered around understanding the role of crypto in driving more financial freedom throughout Latin America, leveraging the power of decentralized finance, otherwise known as DeFi. Together, we're going to be exploring the frontiers of crypto, where we'll be speaking with guests throughout Latin America on the topics of payments enabled by crypto, the role of decentralized social in creating more economic opportunity, educators passionate about unlocking more abundance for developers, leaders and builders in the Latin American DeFi ecosystem, founders of mobile wallets, and also ecosystem developers who are working hand in hand with regulators in the region to bring more adoption. One of the conversations I'm most excited by is one where we will be speaking with a local community right outside of where I live here in Guatemala, where we'll be discussing what it's like for them to access financial services today, how they might benefit from better financial infrastructure, and also the impact they may derive from providing drastically enhanced financial services, with the intention of understanding what role crypto could play in ensuring more access to basic services such as shelter, food, and water. The intention is for this podcast to serve as an educational tool for builders within the crypto ecosystem, those who are curious about the role of crypto in Latin America, as well as local communities who would like to get a sense of how they may be able to leverage crypto to drive more financial inclusion throughout the region. Some of the episodes will be in English and others in Spanish, which I hope will serve a diverse listener base. Now, before diving into the full episodes, I wanted to take this time to give you some background into the work I'm doing and set the scene for you, dear listener. So, as you may or may not know, located in Central America, Guatemala is a country rich in cultural heritage and stunning geographic landscapes. Unfortunately, however, our history is plagued with violence, poverty, corruption, and inequality, a reality that disproportionately affects rural indigenous communities. We're a nation where more than half of the country's wealth is held by just 0.001% of the population. So, talk about the 1%. Guatemala's inequity is a key driver in systematically limiting the health and educational opportunities of our poor communities. In some regions of Guatemala, 7 out of 10 children are chronically malnourished, and we also have the lowest literacy rate in Central America. Many Guatemalan rural communities face dire socioeconomic conditions in predominantly indigenous communities that average earnings equate to $5 a day, where some of the poverty rates are as high as 79%. In order to transition out of poverty and access new opportunities to build more stable economic lives, it is imperative to provide financial services that unlock savings, payment, credit, and insurance. Most rural households operate entirely on cash-based transactions, which inhibit cross-border remittance payments, enable informal money lenders with notoriously high interest rates, and do not provide yield-bearing savings. Therefore, in order to overcome poverty, it is essential to enable access to financial services that leverage the latest technological advancement while prioritizing user experience and reliability. Born and brought up here, I've always been driven by the opportunity to drive change throughout the region, leveraging technological movements. My belief is that there is no greater accelerator of change than the rapid development of adoption of technology around the world. In particular, I'm a firm believer in the potential for blockchain technology to instigate the systemic change necessary to unlock more just and prosperous societies for all. Crypto, which relies on decentralized peer-to-peer networks, has already begun to disrupt the arts, culture, governance, finance, and so many other frontiers of human coordination. One of the most disruptive use cases of blockchain has been the development of DeFi, which enables peer-to-peer digital financial infrastructure. DeFi has the opportunity to revolutionize the way we think about financial inclusion and offer pathways out of poverty for millions of Guatemalans and people around the world. As a fellow at the Ethereum Foundation, I'm working to expand the practical use cases of cryptocurrency throughout the emerging economies and support in onboarding the next billion users into the space. I've been conducting a research project where I've spoken with over 400 developers, policymakers, entrepreneurs, academics, investors, creatives, international NGOs, and last mile communities here in Guatemala to understand their relationship with the current financial services and the opportunity that DeFi could provide as a catalyst for change throughout the region. I've taken all of these lessons and I'm publishing an open source report that compiles the findings over the course of the research and provides suggestions towards what is fundamentally missing in the industry and what opportunities lie in addressing those gaps. The intention is that this research will provide an indication of the necessary Legos, if you will, that must be put in place as we continue to build infinite games that provide transparent, abundant, and equitable futures for all. Now, enhancing inclusive growth and reducing poverty in emerging economies will require continued efforts to provide further education, increase investments in human capital, drive further innovation, and support resilient technological infrastructure. Therefore, this research has relied on a multidisciplinary approach, including document and literature reviews, as well as interviews with a wide range of stakeholders. The outcome of this research is to understand Latin America's challenges and opportunities toward accelerating inclusive, productive, and sustainable development through the implementation of crypto-enabled solutions. The aim is that this research will also provide valuable insights that can be applied more broadly, particularly to those working to build more inclusive social contracts, accelerate creation of opportunities, boost productivity, and enhance sustainability, unlocking more human prosperity. As I publish each of the podcasts, I'll also be sharing blog posts with collectible content that you'll be able to collect both through Mirror and Lens. I'll be publishing these twice a week over the course of the next 6 weeks. To stay up to date with the latest content I'm producing, you can follow along on Twitter at Marcus, DOTAM, and on Lens, where I'll be posting exclusive behind-the-scenes content at marcus.lens. Lastly, I want to take this moment to thank the sponsors of this research. Thanks to the Ethereum Foundation's fellowship program, as well as the decentralized social protocol Lens and Celo, a carbon-negative, mobile-first, EVM-compatible blockchain ecosystem. You'll be hearing more about them throughout the course of these podcasts. Really excited to have you join along the journey, and please do reach out if you have any suggestions, recommendations, as we all coordinate to build more accessible and equitable futures for all. Thanks. See you on the pod.